Hey guys, Stu again. Just as it is the Battle of Britain Day today, September the 15th, and we are marking the 75th anniversary of the most momentous day of the battle. In fact, it was the day it actually turned, it was the turning point of the battle in our favour. Basically, ultimately led to Hitler's plan to invade us put on hold forever, thankfully, thanks to the few. So I thought it would be apt if I did two inbox reviews of two aircraft that were essentially part of the battle, which is the Spitfire Mark 1 and the Messerschmitt Bf 109 E3. The first one I'm going to review, in fact, will be the 109. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what we've got here. This particular aircraft, believe it or not, has got the markings of Adolf Galland's aircraft, and I shall be building it as his aircraft. It's not immediately going to happen yet. Possibly it's going to be built next year, as I've got 3 other builds on, as well as this Battle of Britain group build that I'm carrying out at the moment. So without further ado, we'll get on with this aircraft. It was one of the most numerously produced aircraft during the Second World War, the 109, in around about, I think, 6 or 7 versions. You had the A, which was the prototype, the B, which was used mostly in the Spanish Civil War. And then obviously you had the C variant as well, which was also used in the earlier stages of war, and also this version, the E, which is the E1, but this is the latter E version, the E3. As I say, it was a very effective aircraft during the Battle of Britain, and it was the mount of Adolf Galland, who was the most well decorated fighter race of the war, and he said it was a very stable platform to fly on. And one thing this did have in its favour was that it had a liquid air-cooled engine, where it could basically fly high amounts of G, and the airflow would not get interrupted through to the engine, unlike the Spitfire. It didn't have as high a rate of turn as the Spitfire, and also the endurance wasn't that great, because once they were over our country, they only had around about an endurance period of around about 10 minutes before they had to go back, otherwise they'd run out of fuel. So there you go. As you can see, we've actually got an aircraft depicted in a Battle of Britain scheme, escorting 2 Heinkel HE-111 bombers. I don't know if this is depicting the mount of Galland's aircraft. I think it might be another fighter race. But basically the scheme is this of one of 2. The other scheme, which we've got on the side of the box, again is virtually the same, but with some modelling on it. I've got a feeling that may be Galland's aircraft, but we'll have a look. If anybody is interested in getting hold of one of these, the kit number is 61050 2500. Okay guys, so if you want to freeze frame that, by all means do so. Okay, so without further ado, we'll have a look at this inside the box. To be honest with you, this one is a Tamiya kit. There's not a great deal to it, but what there is very crisply and highly detailed. So we'll get the instruction sheet as is per the norm with me. Move that over the back down there. Okay. Again, with Tamiya, you've got the familiar illustration of the completed model. Again, that does look a superb kit. I myself am going to look and see if I can get some extra detail sets via Edward or possibly some other aftermarket firms, just to give it a little bit more boost, as it were, for the subjects. So, again, you've got the actual history of the aircraft, which you see there. Okay, once opening up the pamphlet, again, you've got all the colour call-outs indicated by Tamiya paints up in the corner here. Let's look for some of their tools. Okay, again, with the hobby colour app on any Android phone or iPhone, you can convert those colours to whichever brand of paint you're using. Okay, first stage, as is per the norm with an aircraft kit, is the assembly of the cockpit area. You do have the added option of having the pilot in it, if you should so wish. I myself will leave it out, because obviously I'm going to super detail the cockpit, leave the canopy open as though it's actually sitting on an airfield in France. Okay, and there's your colour call outs for the pilot if you want to add him. Okay, assembly of the front alarmer and control panel and gun sight, adding all the main components of the cockpit as you can see there. Okay, second part of the build is obviously the side panels of the cockpit interior, which you can see here. I'm not sure, I think this is the accelerator arm or something you actually put on the side, but I'll have to look into that and do a bit more studying on that. And then obviously the other area of the control panel, which you see there. Then it's the assembly of the fuselage halves along with the radio coolant and the radiators that are on the side there. Assembly of the wings, frontal armour with the MG machine gun, and assembly of the fuselage to the wings, tailplanes assembled with the rear struts and rudder, elevators added to the planes and rear front brake pads, and then you've got the construction of the low air coolant, which you can see there. Undercarriage you can put together, again I might put a little bit of wire to add that as a braking wire, etc. And your radiators and your fuselage together, and basically the undercarriage. The last assembly is the actual nose prop, which had a MG34 cannon in the end of it, or you can alternately do it without, okay, because you can get a trot version of this kit, so that's obviously what that one's for. Then you've got the assembly of the three components of the canopy, rear bulkhead, which is used to protect the pilot, and again you've got the added option of keeping the cockpit open or closed, and then basically these are the final stages of the assembly. And then it's giving you a colour guide for the frontal windscreen, which was armour plated. Okay, and then basically on the back here it doesn't actually indicate what the units are. There's your colour call outs again for the mottled scheme, and obviously the basic RLM 75, 76, 78 scheme, which you can see there along with the decals. Okay, anyway, moving on, we will see what's inside with the components of the kit, and I'll just take those out for you and just remove them one from the bag. These are the fuselage halves and some of the interior. Again, you've got some really superb crisp detail there. You've got a blank canvas there, so basically I'll probably get some aftermarket sets. That's the frontal part of the cockpit, where you put the control panel on, etc. Fuselage sides there, beautifully reproduced panel detail, nice recessed panel lines, as you can see there. This really does look as though it's going to make a superb kit. And again, looking along the side of the fuselage, it is crisply produced, not 1 ounce of flash, guys. And I think with this you can actually get an aftermarket Verlinden engine set, so might look into that, although it does actually indicate you can have one open there. Have a look on the interior, lovely centre detail then. Again, you can boost it up with some aftermarket, which I'll possibly do. And that will go down nicely with a wash and some weathering there. Okay, and let's have a look and see what else is on there. Oh, this is the pilot, as you can see there. Nice detail again. So if you want to put him in, you can do. I again will be leaving him out. Okay, and there you go. Okay, there's only actually 2 sprues with this kit, so it's quite a simple, straightforward build. And then obviously you've got the lower parts of the wing. Lovely crisp detail. Again, the recessed panel lines come up beautifully, and that will look lovely with a wash. You've got the bomb cradle there, if you want to put a bomb with it. And you've got your rear elevators there. And if I turn the wing up the other way, again, beautifully recessed panel detail there. So if you guys can see it, I'll just shine it in the light there. There you go. And the thing I like about the elevators is they've actually reproduced the fabric effect on them as well. So that's very nicely done, guys. Then you've got your wheel hubs there. Not flat spotted, funnily enough, but I mean these were produced before a lot of kit manufacturers did this. but very nicely done again. And then obviously you've got the option of the 2 propeller hubs. Okay, and there's your propeller blades. Not 1 ounce of flush there, guys. Again, there's your undercarriage. Nice. You've actually got, as I say, I'm going to put some wire on that just to indicate the brake cables, etc. Okay, and then obviously we've got the canopy there, beautifully crisp and clear, and that's going to be very easy to mask. Now, last but not least, obviously you've got the decal sheet here, and the added advantage of having swastikas, believe it or not. So obviously when I got this from Tim at Cheap Kits and this was actually produced before they banned them in Germany, so that's going to be nice. And you've obviously got some little stenciling detail there. There's your unit markings and the buncle quills, or Knight's Cross as they used to refer to it, and it's very, very nicely done. And then obviously there's your colour guide again, how the camouflage is mapped out. So all in all, it's a lovely, simple little build, a super little kit, I have to say. I will be, as I say, getting some aftermarket for it as I'm going to get around to building it. I would have done it for the Battle of Britain group build, but to be honest with you guys, I'm not going to have time to do it now. So that will be done as my own individual build, and I may well get an engine set, I don't know. Do a nice little dio with this as though it's being worked on in the field, as it were. Okay, so that, my friends, is the Tamiya Schmidt BF109 E3. If you can get hold of one, do, because I think they're still in production. And that's it. That's the end of this first review. As I say, the next one will be the retool of the Spitfire. Now, I may upload this today or possibly tomorrow, but there you go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Until then, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon.